And now, to go on that, and that's obviously not the solution, but probably a way how to go on that. And we're working on that with some of our CCOs in Europe, and it seems to be a way which could work out, and we are just starting a large research project in a few months, which probably goes into more detail here. We really go back and ask ourselves, why at all should a corporation or organization invest into communication or in content? Everybody's talking about content strategies nowadays. Now, obviously, strategic communication, to cite this famous quote by Krokella and others, is a purposeful use of communication to fulfill its mission. So there should be a link between communication and organizational goals. And some very simple questions everybody will ask you is not to communicate, that's clear. But with whom? How much? What is the specific end? Who shall take care? Is it a communication department? Is it every employee? And why at all should you produce content if you're specialized in other goods? So please tell me the exact story. And why is it important? And I think that's very important. We had a lot of discussions with people from management science about that. One very simple point to understand, and I think lots of PR research and textbooks simply neglect this very basic idea, is that communication spendings reduce cash flow and revenues, and most results, like reputation, are long-term and immaterial. And the main problem is very simple. All communication does not enter the balance sheet and cannot be depreciated. Whereas short-time communication, like sales communication, does work out in financial terms. And doesn't help simply to tell about reputation and immaterial goods, which is okay, right, and we have to do that, if you still have a very basic impact that you can tell the story. So how to come out of that? I think the basic idea is to broaden our view. That's just a very simple picture. But it tells you that there are thousands of stories to tell and explain how communication helps to deliver value. And value doesn't mean only economic value. It also means value in the sense that you need a license to operate. It also means that you have a broad understanding of value in that sense. And I think if you look deeper into our day-to-day explanations and sayings and concepts we deliver to our clients and to our internal clients, and also what we're talking about in research, we have different stories. So the most important story, and we did research about that, and we asked practitioners, and it shows us that most of them tell us the story of immaterial assets. They tell that communication builds reputation, builds organizational culture. And that's right, that's okay, that's one story. And we know how to steer it and how to measure that. On the other hand, it's a quite different story if you tell us that communication facilitates business processes. That's more a short-term effect. That the most important issue is, or difference is, that this pays off in the short term, and you can measure it and explain it in a different way. So think of the same issue if you talk about R&D, it would be like this one, long-term investment, or you talk about, let's say, investing in a new production line which pays off after 1 year. It's a different story. Both are important, but you need a different explanation. Both of them is a traditional way of outbound, of outspeaking, communication, speaking out. You communicate to someone. Obviously, communication is also about listening. And I think Don Wright talked about that before. It's very important to have listening, and we really don't do much research about listening. But all these issues about managing relationships, building up relationships, issues management, identifying opportunities, not only in social media, or identifying this big idea which helps you to integrate public concerns in business decisions, is more about listening. And that's another outcome of strategic communication, which is totally different. And it doesn't make sense to look and figure out how many about sentiments or, let's say, some likes on Facebook or whatever, if you're looking for the big one idea. It's a total different idea to explain how communication delivers value.